When did you learn what your dad really thought of you? I was 17 when I realized my dad thought I was a disappointment. He missed my physical therapy graduation, the first time I walked 50 feet unassisted. Mom filmed it on her phone, tears streaming down her face, but Dad was nowhere to be found. Emergency at the warehouse, Mom explained, but I saw the lie in her eyes. He'd been pulling double shifts for months, leaving before I woke up, coming home after I'd gone to bed. The few times we crossed paths, he'd nod awkwardly and disappear into his room like I was some stranger he couldn't figure out how to talk to. When other dads coached Little League, mine was installing security systems until midnight. When fathers brought their sons to basketball games, I watched from the bleachers alone while Mom worked her nursing shifts. He's just tired, she'd say, when I asked why he never came to my chess tournaments or debate competitions. But I knew the truth. Having a son with cerebral palsy wasn't what he'd planned for, and he couldn't hide his disappointment. The worst part was how he'd light up around other kids. At family barbecues, he'd throw footballs with my cousins and ruffle their hair, telling them dad jokes that made them groan. With me, he managed awkward small talk about homework before finding an excuse to leave. Dad thinks I'm broken, I told Mom one night after he'd skipped another doctor's appointment. She denied it, but her voice cracked. He loves you more than you know. Then why does he act like I don't exist? 2 weeks later, I overheard him on the phone with my uncle. I can't do this anymore, man. The medical bills are crushing us. I'm working 7 days a week and it's still not enough. My heart sank. I was the burden destroying our family. Maybe we should look into that state facility, he continued. I didn't hear the rest. I wheeled myself to my room and cried until my pillow was soaked. The next morning, I confronted him. I heard you talking about sending me away. His face went white. Tyler, that's not what you think. I know I'm expensive. I know you wish you had a normal son. He stared at me for a long moment, then disappeared into his bedroom. I thought that was it. Confirmation of everything I'd feared. But he came back, carrying a cardboard box, hands shaking as he set it on the kitchen table. Open it, he whispered. Inside were hundreds of newspaper clippings. Every debate competition I'd won. Every honor roll certificate. Every small victory documented and carefully preserved. At the bottom was a photo of me crossing the finish line at the Adaptive Swimming Championships, arms raised in victory. On the back, in his handwriting, my son, the champion. Proudest day of my life. I never wanted to miss anything, he said, voice breaking. I watched every debate from the back of the auditorium during my lunch breaks. I recorded every swim meet from the upper deck because I had to leave for work right after. I stared at him, speechless. The state facility conversation? I was asking your uncle how to get you into their elite program for gifted students with disabilities. The waiting list is 3 years long. He pulled out bank statements, medical bills, loan documents. I've worked every hour I could find to pay for your equipment, your therapy, your specialized computer. I sold my motorcycle, my tools, everything I owned that wasn't essential. His voice turned fierce. You think I'm disappointed? Son, you've achieved more in 17 years than most people do in a lifetime. You're not my burden. You're my miracle. Then why do you always leave when I'm around? Because every time I look at you, I see how much you've had to fight, how much pain you've endured, and I know it's partially my fault. My genetics gave you this challenge. He wiped his eyes. I was afraid if I got too close, you'd see how much I blame myself. That night, he sat beside me while I did homework for the first time in years. On my desk, he'd placed a new frame with that swimming championship photo. My son, he said quietly, the strongest person I know. He'd failed me by staying away, but he'd done it while fighting a war against poverty and guilt to give me every possible chance at the life I deserved.